Hey everyone, going to be looking at some altcoins now. I usually do Gollum as that is the one that I am interested in, but now we're going to look at SIS, STRAT SC, and GRC, all compared to Bitcoin. And we're going to start on the daily time frame for all of them to get a general overview. So here on SIS, we've got a tightening pattern, and I always love these patterns because they are equilibrium patterns and they give us nice clear breaks when they do occur. So we have our I'm not looking at this big upper wick. That is the all-time high, and that is relevant. But for the pattern that I'm going to be focusing on right now, I'm starting with right here, and that's what I'm interested in as the high and the low. And then we've got our lower high and then our higher low. So you can see the range is currently tightening, and we're tightening so much to the point that there's a couple scenarios here where, depending on the risk to reward that you wanted to, if you wanted to make a trade or make an entry, we have inside bars. So the inside bars shows this equilibrium pattern, but on a macro scale. So if I were to zoom in on the hourly time frame over the past 3 days, I would see higher lows and lower highs over those past 3 days. And we're going to be looking for a break of the inside bar. And that's going to give a trade signal in the short term, and that might lead to a longer term entry. So the range we're watching is 7395 resistance and 7053 support, and whichever breaks first is going to be the direction of the break of the inside bar, and we'll look at the hourly in just a moment, but that's going to give us direction and momentum. If you wanted to be a little bit more cautious and patient, you would wait for either a break of this high of 8478 or the low of 6756. So personally, if I were in this trade, I would probably make an exit if I were a bull if 6756 broke to the downside, as the next support is down at 6 even, and I would just want to be cautious. And you can see the volume here is dropping off consistently with this equilibrium pattern, which is often the case, more often than not. Most often you get declining volume with this equilibrium pattern as things tighten up, and then you see a spike in the volume accompanying the break in the pattern, and that is what to watch for. So here on the hourly time frame, here's looking at our pattern where we've got our high back here, our low, lower highs, higher low, lower high, higher low, and you can see right now we're so tight that we've got our resistance up at that 7395, and our support is down here at 71 or 7053. There's a couple supports you could pick up here, but keep an eye out for a spike in volume. And right now what stands out to me is that the bears have momentum, in the sense that, look at the volume, where it's really not a lot of bull volume. Every spike is a bearish candlestick. Bear volume, and we had one with bull volume here, but other than that, bear volume, bear volume. So have to be cautious here if we are a bull, and a break is coming in the near future, likely before overnight here with regards to the daily inside bar. STRT, similar pattern, where we're coming off of a big time breakout and we are consolidating after that high. So there is our high up here, and we're looking at our low of support, our lower high that was set, and now we're looking for the bulls to form a higher low, but we don't have a bullish reversal candlestick, so we can't be confident that our higher low has been set yet. If we were to see a candlestick similar to this doji, but occurring right here, then we would be looking for that higher low to form. So until we see a bullish reversal candlestick, we're going to anticipate that we're going to keep consolidating down towards this support level. And a support level that stands out is 2673. Be watching that level right there, but we are going to set a new level after this hour or this daily consolidation is done and we see a bullish reversal candlestick form. So patiently waiting. I would not be making a bullish entry if I did not have a position at this point, and I don't have any positions in all 4 of these names. So we can see on the hourly time frame, this pattern on the daily time frame is very clear, just lower highs and lower lows of consolidation. There's no dumps by any means. It's just slow and steady to the downside, and the bulls have not proven to us that they're turning things around. And if they break this lower high pattern on the hourly, then we will look for a bullish reversal candlestick to form on the daily. So really, these time frames show you that you can get more signals and more details by zooming in. So whereas if I were going to look on the daily time frame and wait for a bullish reversal candlestick to form, if I look on the hourly time frame and I look for a break of the lower high pattern, that's going to give me a heads up before the daily bullish reversal candlestick forms. So I would be looking at where we topped out here at resistance of 310453, and then another resistance level up here of 32, and watching for that to break to indicate that the bulls are showing up, turning around this little downtrend, and seeing a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily. SC, very bullish uptrend. That's a nice solid uptrend. Look at the 20-period moving average. I don't trade based off the moving average, but it's nice to have a visual guide, and we can see that we did bounce off of it multiple times, so that is a key level to be watching. And we could draw an uptrend support line to be keeping an eye on as well, just to make sure that the bulls remain their strongest. And I would actually start it from a different point to make sure that we get the most recent action And I would put it right there, and I would know that if we break this level, it's not game over for the bulls, but it would just be the first sign of some weakness. And it does look to me we are going to break this uptrend line, so I don't like where that is, and I'm going to move it. In terms of resistance, we've got our high, we've got our low, we've got our lower high, and we're looking to form a higher low. We have an inside bar on the daily time frame. If we break the low of that inside bar of 0.000006, we will look to pull back and form a higher low. Right now our higher low is down here. So the range is tightening here, just like all these other names on the daily time frame, and we are watching for a clear break of this tightening pattern, but it does look like more likely than not that we are going to pull back to the mid fives, the 5-5 range back down here, especially if we get a bear break of this inside bar on the daily time frame. So watching the hourly time frame here, what would stand out to us is the fact that we broke the higher lows. So we had a nice higher low, higher high pattern, and then as soon as we set our lower high and then lower low, right here is where the trend shifted when this support broke of 612. And then the bears started to take over in the short term. So consolidating and looking for a higher low to form on the daily, very similar to SYS with where we currently stand. GRC, big all-time high move, upper wick of profit taking. The low of the pullback of that consolidation is down at 2768, so that's a key support. And you can see we've just been bouncing around this range, and what stands out is upper wicks of profit taking. The upper wicks of profit taking are more significant than the lower wicks of bulls buying the dip, so because of that we are trading sideways, and the volume is really dropping off here. So this is a pattern I would definitely utilize the hourly time frame for, because we can see some clear levels and we can draw some clear trend lines. And I use the trend lines for visualization, not so much for trade signals. I'm looking at the price levels more for those trade signals, but I do draw these lines just for a visual representation of things. So in terms of price action, I would be looking up at resistance of 3244, and key support for me would be down at 2945. So let's just draw those lines to be keeping an eye on things. So trend lines and horizontal lines, a little bit cluttered here, and if I were looking to actively trade this name, I would remove these trend lines and just use those horizontal lines. So that's where we stand on all these names. Lots of tightening patterns forming on the daily time frame. And depending on what exchange you're using, it's a lot harder to actively trade these names. I have been flipping Gollum on Polo, the exchange, but it's really hard, and it's really nowhere near the usability that GDAX is. And even GDAX compared to, you know, what us stock traders are used to on Fidelity and E-Trade, even that's a little adjusting to get used to. And trying to actively trade on these other platforms is really, really difficult. So that's what we've got. And I'm going to do some of these alt names every weekend when I can, and I'm going to poll our members as to which names get covered. So I appreciate you watching. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll be back with the usual Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Gollum throughout the week. And Litecoin is the star of the show over the weekend, and we'll see if that keeps up again.